yeah, I just want to introduce the speaker. Uh, um, Rupali is an intern in my lab from the last 4 months, and she's working on various regulatory affairs uh, for medical devices. Actually, she was hired to be part of the startup that I was doing at IIT Ropar, but that startup incubation process is taking a lot of time. So still she's working as an intern in my lab, but she has put a lot of efforts into understanding what are the regulatory affairs for any medical devices that any developer of medical device need to go through. So I think she has put up good information, compiled good information on what processes are involved, when you should start thinking about the regulatory affair, at what point. So she's going to present all her work that she has done in the last 4 months, and I hope it will be very useful, and you can stop her in between and have a discussion, and I believe she'll be able to answer it. But in case she's not able to answer it, we'll get back like with the answers later on. So with this, Rupali, I would like to invite you in case everything is working fine at your end. So you may start now.
Sorry. Yes, the processor is still taking time, so I'm just trying to
Okay.
figure out. Till then, I can introduce myself.
Yes,
So,
please.
good evening, all of you, and I'm really glad to be part here and to be able to contribute by sharing my own learnings so far in RMML lab and whatever I learned regarding regulatory affairs. Before that this area is completely new to me. So in 4 months, whatever I learned, I would be sharing that with you all, and hope that it will add value to this cohort and to the all the audiences who are here to take things every day. So yes, and I'm really grateful to Dheeraj sir and Aid Kriya for considering me for this opportunity.
Yes, so good evening to all of you and all the respected professionals who are in this session. So I would like to start my topic. So a perspective on a medical devices regulatory affairs. So I am a semester intern in RMML under Dheeraj Mahajan. Dr. Dheeraj Mahajan. So, in this 4 month of my internship, I have tried to understand and gain much knowledge regarding medical devices regulatory affairs, various regulatory bodies when it comes to market a medical device with various different countries. So, respective to all that, I would be like conducting the session. So let's dive in. So I would like to start with giving a very basic glimpse about the product development process. So we all know that any kind of a product, irrespective it is a medical device or any kind of a product, it goes to a various phases in its entire development process. So from very initial, you can see it as a ideation phase, then it goes to various brainstorming session, then it goes to various conversation between various professionals of different kind of expertise. Then it also has a very particular after prototyping or developing it has to go through a various regulatory regulations submissions. It has to submit various documents, so that all aspects regarding whenever it comes to developing a product, at every step you have to keep documented your process, the journey from the for example, if you are into a design phase, if you are into a quality management, if you are trying to develop a manufacturing facility. So all these stages has to document it, and according to a regulatory affairs or according to respective countries regulatory bodies. So this phase is all about this session, and we will be learning more about it. And at the end of the product phase, the once the approvals are taken for the product, it is ready to market into various countries, and then the goal is set. So this is all about product development process. Then I would like to share a very short video which emphasis on why we need regulatory affairs, or the need of getting product approval. Or so here in video we can see that medical devices covers various huge spectrum which need for human like safety or human their life expectancy. So it has to go through a various safety aspects, and these regulatory bodies make sure that product is being into the market, is approved, and has gone to the safety processes and the quality management processes. So it is all about, and it is very much required for every product to have these approvals for its safe marketing and its safe consumption within the patients. So from here we will start about the our very core interest of this session, which is about regulating bodies. So in this slides you are able to see various various logos or various names of various regulating bodies. First is CDSCO, which is Central Drugs Standard Control Organization, which regulates medical devices in India, and it comes under Ministry of Health and Health Government of India. Then similarly, FDA for USA, and then for European countries, the EMA, European Medicines Agency, look after. And we all know that, you all must be aware that once your product is ready to go into the European market, you get a CE mark on your product. You might have even seen this CE mark on your few of products which you use in your household chores or in laboratories. So this CE mark ensures that the product is approved by European agency and it is safe to consume. And when it comes to China, the National Medicinal Products Administration, NMPA, this body regulates medical devices in China. So these are each of these regulating bodies have their own standards, have their own rules, their own type of classification, their own type of various submission types. So we'll see that in detail. And for this session, we will be more focusing on FDA, as we know that FDA is the oldest administration in medical devices or any devices which are very much sure to use. So we will be discussing more about that. So in medical devices field, FDA plays a role since very old time. For example, in case of CDSCO is very new, as like in India, majority of the medical devices are imported from other countries, and very few number of devices are manufactured here. So that's why FDA is oldest comprehensive, and we need that expertise in India as well, so that we can compete and we can increase our number of manufacturing percentage. So it is really important, and I have studied in detail regarding FDA, so we'll be discussing that. So FDA protects or promotes not only medical devices, but it covers food, drugs, biologics, cosmetics, animal and veterinary medicines, and tobacco as well. So for each of these products or components, the FDA has a different part or a different agency under FDA's umbrella, which regulates that particular product. So in case of medical devices, the Center for Devices and Radiological Health, which is CDRH, regulates medical devices and radiation emitting products. So radiation emitting products are nothing but the X-rays devices or MRI devices. So these all devices are regulated by CDRH. So let's understand more about medical devices. So medical devices, as I previously said, that it has a huge spectrum. So it it covers from simple to a complex devices. Simple devices, as you can see in the picture, the tongue depressors, which helps to reduce the pain, till to the complex devices like artificial heart and many other implants, which help to uh, increase the patient's life. So this whole spectrum needs a very accurate regulations or very minute details to be able to regulate it. So let's deep dive into the definition of medical devices according to Food and Drug Act, Food and Drug Act. So according to FDA, Section 201H, we will see that CFR later, where this definition is included in the document. So medical devices defined as instrument, apparatus, machine, implant, in vitro reagents. In vitro reagents are nothing but whatever the tests are done into the test tubes, or even the pregnancy test kits, the reagents which are involved to do that electrochemistry, those are also considered as a medical devices. Apart from that, including component, part, or accessory, again each of these component, part, or accessory, each of these words have a specific definitions according to FDA, and those are need to taken care very in detail while defining your device as a medical devices. So it should diagnose, cure, mitigate, treat, or prevent diseases or conditions in humans or in animals. So any medical device is considered when it affects structure or function of the body once it is in contact with the body or it has been implanted into the body. So but it doesn't achieve its purpose as a drug, which like as drugs like interact with metabolic activities into the body. So medical devices don't interact with metabolic activities, and it excludes certain software functions when it comes to medical devices. So data storage, administrative support, electronic patient records. So if any software is doing these things, so it is excluded as a software. For example, I can give you the watches which are considered to measure the heart rate. So these kind of devices are not exactly medical devices, as we know those are not that accurate, and they cannot be relied as considering for a data. So such software functions are excluded from medical devices. So apart from whole single product, FDA considers combination products as well. Sorry for this plus, it should be here. So combination products involves at least two regulatory component types. For example, as I said that FDA regulates drug devices or even biologics as well. So when it comes to a combination product, this product will have one or two of these like components, like drug plus devices or devices plus biologic. So in this kind of a product, for example, as shown in this picture, this is a drug eluting stent for coronary artery disease. So in this stent, basically this stent consists drug inside this polymeric material, so which helps to deal the coronary artery blockages, and it releases the drug from that stent. So such kind of devices are regulated either of these two regulatory bodies, either a drug, either a device. So such cases, we need to be really careful before classifying our device, that in which category our device is belonging. So one center usually takes lead in case of combination products, and Office of Combination Products facilitates jurisdiction, because such products are considered special categories as well sometimes. And lead center is based on a determination of the primary mode of action. So in like this combination, from which kind of way it is going to execute its intended use, according to that the regulatory body is considered. So next comes like risk-based device classification. So in this chart, I have like merged all different various classifications according to the countries, because each country and each regulatory body classifies device according to its own understanding of medical devices and its own products into the market. So majorly it is considered from the risk level the product is going to possess on human body. So like those are scaled from low to moderate, moderate to high, and high. So in India, CDSCO defines devices in A, B, C, D classes. Australia 2A, 2B, and 3. Canada and as well. So our interest, FDA defines medical devices as class 1, class 2, and class 3. And according to these classes, or when you have a particular device, you need, very first step is classifying your device, and according to the classification your submissions will be going to vary with, and your regulatory path, that what kind of a path your device needs to follow, that will vary. So it is very important to classify your device correctly according to the market which you want to sell it. So these are to give you an idea the various classes. Apart from, as I previously discussed, the definition of very whole medical device, then combination products, then the software as a medical device. This is also upcoming term or upcoming products under the FDA. FDA has started recognizing like software as a medical devices as well, as we know that technology is being utilized largely for treating diseases as well. So the International Medical Device Regulators Forum has defined software as a medical device in software intended to be used for one or more medical purposes that perform these purposes without being part of hardware medical device are considered as SAMD. So for example, the software that allows a smartphone to view images obtained from magnetic resonance imaging, which is MRI. So this is considered as a software as a medical device. So like for this example, there are various examples which are not exactly part of this hardware, but they are considered in the process of the diagnosing the disease. So those such softwares are considered as a medical devices, and they will be regulated as medical devices. Then radiation emitting products are also under this umbrella, where the section 531 of FD&C Act defines an electronic product as a product which when in operation contains or acts as a part of an electronic circuit or emits electronic product radiation. So examples like X-rays, diagnostic ultrasound, or medical lasers, these are radiation emitting products, and FDA considers them as a medical devices as well. And so these are few. This is the last type of a medical devices, which is mobile medical applications. So as you can see in the picture, this like our MMAs lie in this part, where it is part of mobile apps, it is part of software, and it has been recognized as a part of medical devices as well. So such a group of devices are very for now the number is very few percentage of devices are considered MMAs. For example, Lactmade app. So this app is developed from by National Institutes of Health. It affects medicines on breast milk and nursing, in fact. So it regulates, or it tries to collect the data according to the medicines which are given to a pregnant woman, and how the infants are nurturing about in that phase. So it helps in that way. Then there is another example, radiation emergency medical management. So this app helps like healthcare providers guidance on diagnosing or treating radiation injuries. So such few apps which are upcoming into the market are also considered or like regulated through FDA. So these are also part of medical devices. So now we will go more into the like details about these acts or these rules, or how we need to start our journey when it comes to regulating. So I will take you shortly through this. Uh, So this is US's Code of Federal Regulations book, you can say, where USA's all the regulating components according to USA are are added in this Code of Federal Regulation, and our food and drug comes under the Title 21. Under this Title 21, you would be able to see various sub-chapters under the chapter of Food and Drug Administration, Department of Health and Human Services. So these sub-chapters, as I mentioned previously, that FDA regulates various type of components. So there are general rules for all of these. Then it has drug, it has animal drugs, biologics, cosmetics, and subchapter H is of medical devices. So once you go to this subchapter H, you will able to see all the rules FDA wants manufacturer or distributors to follow regarding their specific devices. So these all are part from 800 to 1050, and in part 800 you will be able to see the general rules for all of these devices. And here you can see that it mentions regarding labeling, it mentions regarding effective date we need to mention. So this is just to give you a glimpse that whatever data I have been so far talking about, where is it coming from exactly. So this is the book where these all things come from, and everyone who is in part of this entire medical product has to follow this. So now we can go back to the presentation. Yes. So as I said, as I shown you that the Title 21 of Code of Federal Regulations 21 CFR contains from Part 800 to 1050 for medical devices and for radiation emitting devices. Under that 21 CFR, parts from 1 to 99 contains general medical requirements that also apply to our medical devices. Then this is regarding the guidance documents. So basically, whenever FDA releases any kind of rules, prior to that, it releases a non-binding drafts for public to give input, and according to those input, again, in when I use term public, you can consider the manufacturer or distributors who are into that particular device and who are into the process. They can FDA releases prior, which is known as a draft document. You will be able to find this draft document on FDA's official website. So into that draft document, you can read all the proposed thinking which FDA is in regarding specific product or regarding the entire product area. So in that phase of draft document, public are open to comment upon those proposed thinking, and FDA considers if those are valid. And after draft document, it releases the final document. In final document, the FDA releases its thinking, its rules, whatever are need to be amended for the device. And once those final document is released, we like all the distributors have to follow that. So that was about documents which are or the details from where we can find these particular rules. Then now, according to classes, as I mentioned, according to classes, your submission types will vary. So in this chart, you can see that like under FDA, it classifies devices into 1, 2, 3, and according to its risk level, class 1 as the lowest, 2 as a moderate, and class 3 device as the highest risk devices. So it again, according to that, the potential harm it can possess on a human body. So lowest risk devices present minimal potential, and then moderate devices have higher risk than class 1, and the highest class, which is class 3, it is mostly relied to sustain or support life, and majorly this can be as implant devices, and so that's why it has highest risk to a human body. So according to that, the regulatory controls are considered. So for lowest risk classes, general regulatory controls need to be submitted, need to be considered, and like for moderate class devices, general and special, if applicable. We'll see in further slides that where do we exactly know if our device is applicable for special controls or not. And then for highest class 3 devices, general and PMA, pre-marketing application is considered. So according to classes, submission types are 510K, which is pre-market notification, known as pre-market notification as well. Majorly, like major part of class 1 devices are exempted from this type of submission, but like very few percentage of class 1 are considered for 510K. Then class 2 devices need to have 510K submissions, and very few percentage of class 2 devices are exempted from 510K submission. And class 3 devices needs to submit PMA. It is mandatory for class 3 devices to submit PMA. So according to FDA, or all the percentage how much the FDA regulates devices. So 35% of those devices falls under class 1 according to FDA, then 53% into the class 2, and 9% of devices are under class 3 devices, and 3% of devices are unclassified as of now for according to FDA. So it is like, as we can see, these numbers reflect that majority of the devices belong to class 2 devices, and very few are under the class 3 devices. So yes, so this was regarding the statistics and very short introduction regarding the regulatory controls. And from now we can jump deep into the control types, or what are the difference between various type of submissions. So as I said, general controls are mandatory for all 3 classes. So these general controls are known as, like, they are example labeling as 801 from the 21 CFR. So this considers regulations or rules regarding the labeling of devices. Then 803 medical device reporting. So these, like device listing, establishment, registration, quality systems. So all these controls are need to followed, and are all the documents according to these regulations should be submitted for the approval of devices. So these are general controls. The next comes special controls. As we seen previously, that special controls are mandatory for class 2 devices if applicable. So so these special controls considered design characteristics of specification, testing for some devices, then special labeling guidance documents. So these are, so whether to find out whether our device needs special controls or not, we can find this under the B classification, or of our specific device part or subchapter. As example, in 24 CFR 876.5860B. So this there is this B is of high permeability hemodialysis. So this device has to submit special controls. So from there, whenever there is a B subpart under your specific chapter or specific part of CFR, it indicates that that device needs to have special controls. So this is the indication. Uh, Yes. So shall we start from the steps to whenever you are in an initial stage of developing your medical devices? So FDA, FDA suggests few steps according to which it helps to smoothen our journey from a product ideation to a marketing a product. So that steps we will be going into deep. So the first is establish the product. As we know, in you all might be aware about design thinking as well. So under design thinking, it very first step is that we have spent more time on our problem statement. We have tried to understand, is it really a problem or not? So in similar manner, in case of medical devices, we need to establish like that. We need to follow a few steps to establish the product, like identify product description, that what kind of product it is going to be, and then according to the identifying its purpose can help to define the product. So again, to identify its purpose, we need to define its intended use, and its intended use initially should be a broad. It should not narrow down, so that once you have narrowed yourself down at the very initial stage, you are very limited to what you are going to deliver. So it's really important to be a broad at initial stage. Then indication, in terms of indication for use, we can be more specific, that what kind of like how it is going to use. Then in case of medical devices, duration of use plays a very huge role, because when you will see various if you consider implant devices, or if you consider CGM, for example. So CGMs are continuous glucose monitoring devices. So in such devices which are going to spend time in your body, you need to define clearly the duration it is going to spend in your body. And according to that, your product will be established, or its purpose or its function will be varying. So it's really important. Then the target patient population, in case of targeting patient population, its age range, and the disease, a particular disease we are trying to diagnose or treat, is really important. So this is all about establishing product. Then comes the second step. After establishing the product, you need to verify whether your product is really a medical device or not, because it's when you target a particular regulatory body, prior you need to know that your medical device, your product is really going to regulate by medical devices or not. So to identify or to verify the product, we need to define its intended use, then how does the product is going to function, and what claims we are intended to make around that product. These steps are important. So I'll show you one example through which it will be much clear that why it is important to understand its intended use into a detail. So in the picture, as you can see that there are two products, which is one is an adult diaper and second is an infant diaper. So in at very first glance, you will realize that these two products similar can come under a similar product classification, or under medical devices. But once you will try to understand its intended use, so like in case of adult diapers are manufactured to protect an incontinent patients garment from urine or stool. But in case of infant diaper, they also are considered for like protecting garments, but those are not. But in case of infant is not like considered to be able to realize its urine or stool, or the discharge is normal in case of infant, but if in case of adult it is kind of a disease the adult is facing through, and the diapers are considered for treating that or to hold those discharge. So we'll try to go through these questions which can help us to understand more whether it is medical device or not. So the first question is it intended to diagnose, cure, mitigate, treat or prevent disease in human? Again, this diagnose, cure, mitigate is one of the part of definition of medical devices from FDA. So initially we need to ask ourselves whether it is trying to diagnose or cure. So in case of adult diaper, yes, it is at some level going to mitigate the incontinent of the adult. But in case of infant, it is not as such. It is not as such the intended to mitigate the disease. Second question is it intended to affect the structure or any function of the body? So in both case of products, it is not going to affect the function of body. And third question is, does it achieve its primary intended purpose by chemical action or by being metabolized? So even in both the cases of both products, the answer is no. They are not going to like interact with metabolism of the body. So through this like checkboards or through these answering these questions, we are able to see that the infant diaper cannot be considered as a medical device, as the infant is not like able to, because we know that infant cannot control their urine or stool. But in case of adult, if they are not able to control, then it is a disease. So this kind of a product is going to mitigate that disease. That's why it will be considered as a medical device, and the infant diaper won't be considered as a medical device. So with this example, I just wanted to give you a insight that even I have chose this example because when you will at first glance you won't be able to realize the very detailed difference, but it is very important to understand, is it really coming under medical devices or not? So these such questions are really important before defining the product. Then this third step would be identifying the classification of the product. Once you are sure that your product is coming under medical devices, now you can step forward to classifying your device. And from here, your first step of this regulation will start. So like identifying regulatory classification, as we seen into the chart previously, that every country and every regulatory body like classifies devices into different types according to the risk level, and you need to classify that device according to where you want to market your product. So in case you want to market your product in India, then you have to classify your device according to A, B, C, D from its risk point of view. And if you are trying to market your device into the USA, then you will consider classification as class 1, 2, and 3. So this classification is really important, because this classification will define its regulatory pathway throughout and once you apply or you file your submission for your device, and if your classification is wrong, then you have to go back again you have to start your classification, and every stage of the regulatory pathway will be going to cost you some amount of money to submit your documents or to get like approval from that particular stage. So it is really important before investing your time, money, that you are really going through these few steps to be very sure that under which class your device is lying. Then the fourth will be developing valid scientific evidences. So to find out whether the UR classification is really valid according to your regulatory body, you can go through these, like in case of FDA, you can go through a CFR, Code of Federal Regulations, and you can see that with similar kind of a device is under, like mentioned under CFR, and whatever the definitions are giving for those specific classes, whether your product is lying under that specific class. So that you need to cross verify. And once you have cross verified the classification, you need to like prepare for pre-market submissions. So like for pre-market submissions, each type we will be seeing different types of pre-market submissions. So each type will have their own set of processes, then applicable laws and regulation, review times, evidence burden, like what kind of if whether you have to do clinical trials for your device, whether you need to what kind of a QMS, quality management systems you have to follow. So these all will vary according to your class of device. So and what kind of submission type it needs. So let's so there are 5 type of submissions, pre-market submissions under FDA. One first is investigational device exemptions, IDE. Second is pre-market notification, and commonly known as 510K submission. Third is pre-market approval application, PMA. Fourth is de novo, and fifth is humanitarian device exemptions. So I'll talk more in detail about all of each of these submission types. So first is IDE. IDE is not exactly a type of submission, but it is the approval from FDA to be able to conduct clinical research on your particular product or your device. So it can collect safe and effective data for future marketing applications. Then it requires approval by institutional review boards, and through IDE it can protect human patients when if your device is not safe enough for a patient, it will be eliminated from IDE. So for that, it's important that you conduct this approval from FDA. Second is pre-market notification or 510K. In case of 510K, like as I mentioned previously, that all class 2 devices, majority of class 2 devices needs to submit pre-market notification. So this is a market application for low and moderate risk devices, substantial equivalence between new device and a legally marketed device. So basically, when you apply for pre-market notification, FDA tries to go back to its data and validate whether similar kind of a device is already been approved. And if it has been approved by FDA, sorry, then it will be compare our new device application, and it in case of intended use in its device features and its performance testing. And so it will be easier for the regulatory time it will be going to take for achieving the approval. So for that we need to have pre-market notification. Then third is pre-market approval application. So all class 3 devices and all which are having highest risk, those are mandatory to like have PMA. So these market applications for highest risk devices, so it needs to have reasonable assurance regarding safety and its effectiveness. And then the evidences like stands on the like individual devices and not equivalence, as we seen previously in case of 510K. The FDA tries to evaluate or tries to compare the previous registered device and the new device. So in case of PMA, it doesn't happen. In PMA, the device gets the FDA tries to find evidences on its own, on its individual like efficiency. So that is the difference between PMA and 510K. Then the de novo type of submission is needed for a device which never has been like classified previously. Like every time if any new kind of a device is going to get into the market which is not classified, it has to be identified by regulatory body, and according to that they develop their own regulatory path according to that device risk and what kind of intended use it has. Then the mostly these the products which are considered for de novo, like are novel devices which are not previously marketed. Then it creates new classification regulation under that device, and it can be an alternative to PMA if your device is completely new and can come under a highest risk. Then it will be an alternative to a PMA submission, and then the reduced regulatory burden or control based on risk benefit profile of device. So according to the risk, the regulatory pathway will be defined, whether it needs clinical trial, whether it needs uh, various stages for its testing and showing its effectiveness. So that will be defined according to that. Then fifth is humanitarian device exemptions. So in case of HDE, this type of pre-market submission is for all humanitarian devices. So 8,000 individuals per year in the United States are like go through these humanitarian device exemption. So exempt from so HDA type of submissions are exempted from like proving its effectiveness, and reasonable assurance of safety and probable benefit needs to be needs to attend through HDA type of submission. Then I will be taking you through a short case study regarding classification of device. So here is a traction device which helps to reduce the backache through a vibration uh, produced from the device. So it's intended use to treat low back pain through intermittent and static traction. So like we'll go through how it can be classified. So yes, so first step or first method can be search for an appropriate product classification. So second can be search for similar device by clearance or its approval. Third is search for similar device by device listing. So yes. So for first method, I won't be showing you screenshot. I will be taking you to this actual like databases, which can like give you a real feel that how exactly you can classify. So this is the link. So if you get the PPT, you will have access to all these links, all these databases. So the one note is while using these databases is like the search reminders, like conduct multiple searches using a variety of related terms. In case like when you have, if you are having a traction device, so we can use multiple synonyms to be able to search that how many devices are already under the FDA approval. Then like we need to ensure that we are correctly spelling whatever we are trying to search, and we need to avoid plurals if we are using these databases. So let's go to the database. So this is a product classification type of a database under FDA website. So this basically database helps you to be able to classify from the previous devices which are approved by FDA. So like this at currently it is at advanced search mode, and where you need to input device type, product code, regulation number. But this keeps you this gives you a narrow path, and it doesn't allow you to have a broad spectrum. That's why it is useful to go to a quick search. So once you go to a quick search, you can, I will add a traction as I'm trying to define traction device. So once you'll go to this database, you will able to see that like according to FDA, there are various types of product codes, and these are devices, and these are the description of what exactly that product is. So here you can see this is skull tongs for traction. Like in medical devices, when you are when a single product is going to classified, along with that single product, if you are having components or accessory or any helping apparatus, for example, in if you are having a IV, so along with the IV you can have, you need a pipe or the other equipments. So those are considered as components or accessory which help you to attend your specific like use. So in this database you can see like most of these are component, this is apparatus, these are accessories, and this is specifically a power traction equipment. So this is of my interest because it is a powered, it has mentioned that it is actual equipment, traction equipment. So I'll go to this product code. So once I'll go to the product code, I can see all the details which I need at this stage to be able to classify. So according to like FDA has classified this traction device under class 2, and then its product code is ITH, and the pre-market submission which it has been submit are like 510K, and these are few other details. But for now, this is of our interest that it falls under a class 2 device and it needs a 510K submission. So this is about the product classification database. So this is one way of helping you to classify your device. Then next comes, so these are the screenshots which I have put into the PPT. Then second method, you can search for a similar device through approval databases. Like as we know, 510K is type of submission type, then PMA. So even you can search through these databases for a similar device. So again, when you will go to 510K pre-market notification database, you will have this advanced search. You can go to a quick search to be able to broaden your search, and you can put traction. Yes. So under this, so these are different companies who make traction equipment or related component or accessories for the traction. So this is Ever Prosperous Instrument Incorporation, which like manufacturers traction system, and its name is Digit Track 930. So I'll go to this. So again, from this like database, you will be able to see that it has again been classified under ITH, and the regulation number which we previously saw in product classification is at similar here. So once you will go to this regulation type, this regulation number, you will be you can go to a CFR title and the actual definition for the traction device, where like the identification, the power traction equipment consists of power devices intended for medical purposes for use in conjunction with traction accessories such as belts and harnesses to exert therapeutic pulling forces on the patient's body, and the classification for this type is class 2. So this was about the type of approval database. You can go through any of these. You can go through if your device, if you feel that your device falls under class 3, or like it has highest risk and it can fall into a class 3, you can try to find your device under PMA approval. Again, these all databases have a similar kind of a interface as we seen previously. So you can go either of these. If you feel that your device is a novel device, you can go to a de novo database and try to find out if similar kind of device already exists or not. So you can consider all these. And the last method can be to go through a established registration and device listing database. So these are various various methods which help you to ensure that the class in which you are trying to classify your device is really a valid uh, class. So this is for, so under establishment, registration and device listing, all those products which are registered under FDA, you will find all those details, all the companies who are producing the similar kind of a product. And again, through these data, you can try to find out the data. So like all three of the steps take you to this common conclusion that your specific device, this traction device, falls under a class 2 devices. Then the regulatory controls, the general controls are mandatory for this device, and there are no special controls identified. There, as if there has been any special controls, then it would have been mentioned in this CFR note. So it hasn't mentioned any of special controls. So your device doesn't need any special controls. Then the regulation type was 890.5900 as I shown you, and the product code is ITH, and the submission is type 510K type of submission is required for this device. So yes, so this was a example to be able to go through the steps to being able to classify your device very correctly. And after that, so these are few platforms where you can learn regarding the CFD regulations and everything you need to know regarding the FDA. So CDRH Learn. So these are the platforms which I personally use to educate myself regarding FDA regulations. And yes, I think, yeah. So thank you. And this was about the FDA regulations.